The City of Moscow is in the process of implementing a new single-stream recycling program scheduled to begin February 1st of 2016. The city previously issued a request for proposal, or RFP, for modification of services for single-stream recycling to its sanitation service provider, Latah Sanitation, Inc. The response to the RFP was received back in March of 2015. The RFP response outlines several proposed changes to routing and minimization of alley service for the purpose of maximizing collection efficiency as well as reducing costs. As a part of the implementation process, the city and Latah Sanitation intended on collection of both garbage and single-stream recycling roll carts from within street rights-of-way and minimizing necessary collection of these roll carts from the alleys. This process has been successfully implemented in various Moscow neighborhoods over the past 12 months. Two of the larger process changes that I can recall was we switched 157 accounts north of the West A Street area from alley to street service, as well as 60-plus accounts down on 6th Street shortly after we implemented the roll cart program, and that was mostly because of a safety issue down on 6th Street with the parking on the north side of the street. But we did ask 60 accounts down through that area to relocate their roll carts for collection purposes. Within the past several weeks, notices were sent out by Latah Sanitation to approximately 456 Moscow and garbage recycling customers, directing that the roll carts be moved from the alleys to the street for collection. Since that time, in part because of the street parking situation in certain neighborhoods, complicated by the lack of driveways and inaccessibility of residences to the street, the decision to terminate alley pickup of roll carts has come into question. The recent snowfall and resultant ice and snow berm accumulation has also raised additional concerns. In light of the recent concerns and complications, City Council asks that the alley collection notices be suspended until the issue could be revisited. On Tuesday, January 5th, 2016, the mayor, city supervisor, and myself met with management from Latah Sanitation to discuss the issue and notify them of this action. New notices affirming this decision have been sent to those affected. This was also reviewed by Public Works Finance Committee on January 11th, 2016, which recommended suspension of termination of alley service until further notice and City Council direction. With that, I will be glad to answer any questions of the council.
Dan, I'll turn it over to you for a moment, because that was on Monday, January 11th, a week ago yesterday, that was discussed.
It was. And, we had a lot of folks in the audience from those neighborhoods worried that, that we were going to continue on with that proposal to collect from the alleys. But, it kind of made sense to continue to do it, especially with the parking's a little bit different in that area because there's parking on both sides of the street, and we could understand how, having those carts out there would, it almost seemed like it would be harder for trash pickup, honestly, than, not only that, but as Walter mentioned, folks might have to drag their totes through their living room to get them out to the front yard, to the street. So, we recommended the suspension of it until further notice, and Tim, I think, said 90 to 120 days we'd be able to work something out as far as a definitive decision as far as whether continue. For the most part, probably it would continue in the alleys, but there may be some little sections where street pickup may still work, but it's going to be a little bit of an ongoing discussion and research in that matter. But we did recommend to suspend the alley pickup, or to not suspend alley pickup, to continue with that as it's going right now.
Okay. Walter?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I don't know if we need to beat this horse. We heard from more people, I think, on this topic than anything I can remember, with the exception of the Palouse River ball fields,
At least in the last year.
or more than last year, people that we never hear from about anything else. I had people contact me that I've known for decades that live in Moscow, I never see or hear from, and the first line of their email was, I bet you can't believe I'm writing you, and I bet you can't believe it's about trash. So they literally came out of the whole neighborhood explaining their problems with the proposed switch to get out of the alleys. I made a comment at the committee, besides the living room one, that I was watching my rearview mirror for police cars because I was out driving around the alleys of Fort Russell, which I'd never done in my life, to try to see what the situation was, how the garbage cans or totes were situated, and then went around to the front of the house to look and see what the front looked like. In addition to Dan's comment about the amount of cars parked on those street fronts and the fact that I wondered where are they going to sit totes that a mechanical emptying truck can get a hold of them without hitting a car. There are fences and there are decades-old landscaping and everything in the world between the backyard and the front yard, and that's where the through the living room comment came from, that if we want them to keep these garbage totes and the single stream recycled totes out of sight, and they put them in the backyard, there's just no way to get around the side of a lot of those houses. It's just the way the neighborhood is. So the comments, I believe, Dan, that Tim made, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, about 90 to 120 days, had to do with looking to see if there were any current alley pickups that could be moved to the front of houses, where the circumstances that were pointed out to us were not as acute as appears for the entire area. Perhaps there are a few blocks or a street or something where some changes could be made. I do not wish to have this drug out for 3 or 4 months. So I'm going to make a motion tonight that we officially do not move the 456 residents garbage and single-stream cart recycling from the alleys to the streets, but they remain in the alleys until such time as a very clear ability to make a change on particular areas be identified.
Second.
Okay. Further conversation from the council? Walter, here's the motion I have from you. If I wrote this down, I do not move the 456 recycling and garbage collection folks from the alley to the street, leave them as they are.
Until such time as whatever you said, specific reasons for making any change back to the streets is identified.
Okay.
In other words, they're going to stay in the alley.
Okay.
If Tim comes along and says the 400 block of Cherry Street, and we've gone and talked to the people, and they're okay
That'll
with
work.
it, and we can move them to the street, then I'm okay with working that out.
And that's your understanding of the second, Catherine?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that? Okay, Lori? Okay, I think we're ready to go. John, I'll start to roll with you.
Aye.
Aye.
And I.
Okay, we'll move forward with that. Thank you very much, Tim.
If I may, with one more comment, Your Honor. The 90 to 100 days that I did explain at committee was more of a changing these 456 customers from alley to streets was just a portion of it. We also, LSI designed completely new routes with single stream coming on board. So the 90 to 100 days, what we're going to be looking at is switching those routes back to try to gain the most efficiency that we can continuing alley pickup.
Okay. And that's correct.
Yeah, I think everybody understands
that was
that.
what I understood. I just didn't state it very well a while ago, that where we've told some people we're going to pick you up on Tuesday instead of on Monday, we may end up going back.
Okay.
And I wanted the people that were here and the people that read the newspaper to realize that now that we've had the vote, we're going to stay with alley pickup, but your day may change or your route situation may change somewhat.
Okay, in the future. Okay, everybody's clear on that? Yep. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.